Celtics won the game on a buzzer beater, but in your mind, where do you feel like the game was lost perhaps before then?
Yeah, you could look at a number of ways. There's obviously areas of the game where you want to improve. So take your pick. Proud of the guys. It was our first, real intense playoff experience together. We had a poor start to the second half, which cost us, obviously. But, other than that, I thought there was, a lot of growth from our group.
Defensively, what did you see overall? I know there was ebb and flow over the game, but what did you see defensively overall from the group?
Yeah, it's always rash to say after the game, until you look at it. It's never quite the same in your mind as it is on tape. So, I think for us, we got hit on the boards a little bit, and we turned it over in the first half and gave them runouts. So, you add those up in a game that's decided at the buzzer, and it's hard to overcome.
43-29 rebounding advantage and offensive rebounds, 14 for the Celtics. They have 18 second chance points, 18-11 in their favor over Brooklyn in game one. How do things change in this series? I mean, Brooklyn's not going to get any bigger.
We know Brooklyn is a confident bunch. I know they're in the locker room saying, hey, we got down, we played well. KD's probably saying, I didn't play my best, but we can still win. The key when you're playing against a team like Boston, they have that 1-2 punch. You can't let 3 or 4 guys get off. Al Horford came out of nowhere. He played well. Marcus Smart played well. But Brooklyn still had opportunities to win the game. KD hit that shot. It's a different ballgame, but they missed. They rotate 2 guys to 1. They make great passes. They were still able to win. But again, Brooklyn can just say, okay, they did what they're supposed to do. They won 1 game at home, but we have ways to win. We know we can beat these guys on the defensive end. We can't let 3, 4, 5 guys get off.
See, this is where I disagree, Shaq. I don't think they have 1-2 punch. That's what I think would make Boston really good, is that Marcus Smart plays well. Even if he doesn't score well, he affects the game defensively. Al Horford stretches the floor. He can shoot the 3. Tice gets offensive rebounds. You got White who comes in. You got even guys like Pritchard who didn't play today, can really shoot the ball coming off the bench.
You can't let those guys get off.
But I think they do get off. I think those guys are 8 to 12 to 14 point scorers no matter what team they're on. They just happen to be on Boston. So they have a bunch of guys who can get 10 to 12 to 14 points with Tatum and Brown. I think that's what makes them special, and that took them to the next level.
Right, that's the average, but you can't let a guy that averages 12 get 20.
But to piggyback on Kenny's point, the reason a guy instead of 14 gets 20, because they're shading everything toward Tatum and Brown. So that's only 6 points, but because Tatum and Brown, they had a good game, but this dude done had 50, 60 points. I think the difference is you go back to the play-in game. You look at the game today. I've said this. I said this team can't win the championship because I don't think those guys. I don't know what's going to happen.
What's up, my Brooklyn?
Brooklyn.
Okay.
Like I say, those guys both played fantastic against Cleveland, and it was still a 6-point game with 3-4 minutes to go. Can they have 4 perfect games? You see today, one guy was amazing. The other guy had a little subpar game, and they lost. And that's why I think those 2 guys have to play great. One of them can't play great. They both have to play great. And I thought you saw a perfect example of that today, to be honest with you.
And I just think inside is going to continue to be a problem for Brooklyn against this team. Not only did Horford have 20 and 15, but points in the paint, 56 to 32, Boston.
They're not. You had a great point. They're not going to get taller. They're never going to be great on the board because they're just small. But they still have 2 nuclear weapons that if they both play great, they're going to have a chance every game. They're going to get out-rebounded every game. But when you have 2 guys like that, and like I say,
saying it's not enough.
No, KD had to play. He has to play great. Okay. Kyrie was great today. Kevin was under par, subpar today. But if they play great, they're going to have a chance every game. But they got to play great. Not even good. They got to play great.
Ime Udoka's Boston Celtics take game 1. Here is the...
Can you touch on just your decision not to call a timeout there before the game-winning layup by Jason?
Yeah, the ending was great. I think both ends, we got what we finally wanted offensively. They were defending Jason a specific way, and I think that opened the court for everybody else, especially Jalen on that last drive, second-to-last drive. So took advantage of that, especially with the poor start in the fourth quarter, 15-2 run by them. we figured out and battled back and got our offense going and guarded well when we needed to on that last possession. But defensively and taking it on transition, not calling timeout, I tell the guys all the time, if we have an advantageous position we're in, I won't call a timeout. If I don't like what I see, I'll call it then. But as you know, teams will get matched up and get the lineups they want in the game. Jalen had Dragic on him, and I love what he did. Drew 3 people, kicked it to Marcus. He drove past 2, and we got a wide open shot. So we talk about that all the time. If I don't like what I see, I can still call a timeout and draw something up with a few seconds left.